Hey guys, Comic Boom here to have some fun reviewing some comic book covers that I enjoyed in 2022. And these comic book covers, I'm going to certainly do more than 10. I'm going to show you a slew of covers, and there's certain rules that I have in place here for showing you the comic book covers that I enjoyed. The rules for my comic book covers are I got to have bought the comic book. Because there's a lot of comic book covers out there that are amazing, but there's a couple of rules that I have in showing my top comic book covers of 2022. And it actually narrowed it down a bit, and in a way that I actually kind of like. There's rules that I have for comic book covers when I'm going to show you my top for 2022. Number one, it's got to be part of something. It's got to be something I collect. Number two, it can't be a ratio variant, and it can't be a retailer variant, and it has to have been sold for cover price. So none of this nonsense of paying, it's not a 1 in 25 or a 1 in 10 where you're paying $25 for a glorified cover. No, it's cover price. Now, also, I eliminate all card stock. So DC charging $1 more for the cover doesn't count. That cover can't count. Why? Because it's an extra buck. It's just something that it makes it a little bit easier when I was going through my collection. And plus, I kind of like that rule. Frankly, your best cover should always be your cover A, and it should be the regular price. That's the way it should always be. I'm just saying that on principle, and that's just the way it is. Incidentally, I'm doing this. After I'm done doing this, I'm probably going to take about a half hour doing this. It's going to go quick, I think, and then we're going to run off and have some fun for New Year's and then come back. But in any event, I thought I'd throw up this quick video because I had some fun with covers in 2022, just going through my collection and putting together my top 10 and top 10 worst DC, blah, blah, blah. In any event, these are in no particular order, but for 2022, I'm going to start off here with a great comic that I picked up. I picked this up in 2022. Maybe this is a cheat, but Dan Parent, I love him. This is a Chamber of, I think it's a Chamber of Chills homage to a comic book called Chamber of Chills back in the 40s with Betty of Archie with the skull, half skull through the wine glass. She's probably drinking this on New Year's, right? But in any event, Happy New Year, everybody. But in any event, here's one cover. I quite like that. Now, I want to give a shout out to Daniel Saint-Pierre with Dark Crisis. My favorite cover, other than the George Perez tribute cover, which I'll get to, was issue 6 of 7, because it actually showed Pariah. This actually was the closest thing to a George Perez cover, other than George Perez's actual cover or tribute cover to George Perez. And I really like this one because it showed Pariah. This actually looked like it was a sequel to Infinite Crisis on Infinite Earths, but of course, those of us who've read it know that it really wasn't. But yeah, so there's that one. All right. I also want to give a shout out to Nicola Scott, man. Wonder Woman Historia Volume 3 came out just under the radar in 2022. Absolutely gorgeous cover. I mean, this is by Black Label. This is Hera on the cover, Nicola Scott. Just an amazing artist. And I got to tell you guys, just a quick sneak peek. I mean, the interior art is absolutely phenomenal. Phil Jimenez did book 1. Gene Ha did book 2. Nicola Scott on book 3. Kelly Sue DeConnick just kicked ass on the story. I loved it. This was the highlight for Wonder Woman for the year. Everything else Wonder Woman was quite terrible, frankly. Just read my my worst DC comics for 2022. You'll know that, but great cover. This Poison Ivy cover, man, issue 7 of Poison Ivy. This was absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely love that. I wish, since I've also making it a policy of covers, if artists don't put their names on the cover, they're not going to get a shout out. So there you go. Beautiful cover. Don't know who it is, but it's nice. And all right. And also there's this one. Woohoo! Wildcats 2. This was the same price as, this actually might be a cheat because this is a cardstock. I violated my own rule, but it looks so damn hot I had to throw it in there. But this is a cheat. This shouldn't count, but I'm putting it in there anyway because Wildcat looks amazing. Whoever that artist is, I don't know. Again, you want to know who you are? We don't know who you are unless you put your name on the cover. No name on the cover, no shout out. All right, man, Lucy Perillo, yes, and he signs his work. He signs his work. Shout out to artists, sign your work. Red Sonja, Unbreakable Sonja, issue 1. This looks amazing with a young Red Sonja with an adult Sonja in the background. Absolutely love this one. I'm a huge Dynamite fan. Also, Catman and Kitten. This was a one-shot. This is by Dynamite. It came out a couple months ago, and I can't remember the name of this artist. He doesn't seem to care that we don't know his name because, again, he doesn't sign his work. I guess that's just the way it is. But it's really nice. It's really nice. If you guys know the names of these artists, I mean, I can probably Google them, but why? I'm tired of this. You know, if you want recognition for your work, put your name on the covers, or don't. It's only your career. All right. How's this? Great cover. I think this woman's name is Cohen. But, you know, again, you sign your work nonsensibly so nobody can read your name. No one's going to know who you are. Good for you. But beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Vampirilla, year 1, issue 4. Boom. Looks fantastic, huh? Wow. That looks really, really nice. Great stuff. I got to tell you, man, a lot of this stuff looks absolutely amazing. But, wow. All right, Vampirilla Strikes. Now, this is by Ben. Is this by Ben Caldwell, I think? Anyways, look at that cover. Absolutely love this. I saw this, and I had to pick it up. The great thing about Dynamite covers is that they're all $3.99. You know, just avoid the 1-in-10 ratios and the 1-in-50. And you can buy, there's usually like 5 or 6 covers, all for cover price. Dynamite understands the medium, understands it better than the big 2 does. But absolutely love that. All right, I'm gonna give a shout out here to, this is the Liam Sponhenge. It's actually Starhenge by Liam Sharp. And Liam Sharp has a lot of his art is amazing in his series Starhenge, and the covers are actually I actually find the covers probably I actually don't like his covers all that much. Now, why am I showing it? Because I want to give a shout out because the guy's art's amazing on the interiors. The cover art just doesn't do justice for the stories. I don't know why, but I just, you know, we got the Sponhenge here, which I picked up. This was actually the best cover out of all 6 issues. But anyways, shout out to Liam Sharp. Pick up Starhenge if you can. It's a decent enough story. And buy his hardcover. I think you know, show him some love, show him some support, because it's creator-owned stuff. I love this cover by Breyer. Look at that. Now, this is by Christopher Cantwell, and he gets a lot of bad slack in some quarters. But I'm enjoying Breyer. I actually enjoyed this. I reviewed this with Jim at Weird Science at the Indie Podcast, and for Weird Science Comic Boom Podcast and YouTube channel, whatever. And anyways, I love this cover. Again, I don't know who the cover artist is, but it doesn't matter. I'm just showing you covers I love. All right. American Jesus. I love this cover. Mark Millar and Peter Gross. I'm assuming the cover's by Peter Gross, but you never know. I mean, it always amazes me. So many great interior artists, and the art in here is good. And some of them, they just don't. They're, for the life of them, they just don't want to do the cover. But this cover is nice. It's the American Jesus. The guy in the White House is the devil, or at least he thinks he is. And the person you think is a good person is going to bring about the end of the end of the world. It's the story of Revelations told through the mind of Mark Millar, and my God, it's pretty good so far. I'm only on issue 2. I just read issue 3, actually. I'm really curious to see how it ends. I mean, the year would not be complete without Gun Honey. Gun Honey has a lot of covers. Pyrian fanboy in me. I mean, I love Dynamite, but I also love Hard Case Crime, Titan Comics, man. Gun Honey. Ooh, what's not to love about Gun Honey? I mean, she's a kick-ass James Bond who's not afraid to get naked. with either gender. So pick up this comic. I tell you what, it's not just the covers that are good. All right, I got this. I've never bought a Lady Death comic, but my God, this one came in. It was cover price for me by my retailer. So hey, man, it comes in under the wire. Wonder Death issue 1. It's a homage to, I think, the Sensation Comics first appearance of or early appearance of Wonder Woman. Anyways, fantastic cover, just gorgeous. All right. Jeff DeCall has doing some amazing covers for Catwoman, and these are my favorite. I love the roller skates, the roller skate cover with Harley Quinn on Catwoman issue 43, and issue 41 with Onyx and Catwoman looking pretty naughty there. Wow, fantastic art. All right, Nightmare Country issue 4. This is the Agony and the Ecstasy. Agony and the Ecstasy. Two characters in Neil Gaiman's Nightmare Country. Or pardon me, this is James Tynion, and he's writing this, but it's in the Sandman universe, and it's in the same universe as the Corinthian. And anyways, it's just gorgeous covers and great story. All right, continuing on, Dark Knights of Steel. Wow, great thing about these is these covers. They're not much more. I mean, look at that gorgeous cover there. There's multiple variants, they're all the same price, so they fall within my rules. And beautiful cover. Kara, Supergirl, looks absolutely amazing. Or actually, she's not Kara. She's actually the daughter. She's actually the sister of in the story. She's actually the sister of Kal-El, Prince Kal-El. But anyways, gorgeous cover, man. And again, not sure who drew that. It almost looks like a Gary Frank, but I don't know. And once again, it's all right, man. If you don't want to be credited with the art, by all means, don't put your name on the cover. Okay, I actually love this Gargoyles cover. Again, the artist doesn't want to put their name on the cover, I guess. These artists, it's amazing how many artists out there just don't want to be recognized for their art. And it's kind of a shame, I guess. Is that the new industry standard? No signature on the page? Not a problem. Makes it easier for me. Shorter video. Don't have to say your name. But you're a very talented artist. Look at that. Gargoyles #1 by Dynamite. Woohoo! Sexy gargoyle. Who'd have thought? I know this guy, Guillaume March. Vampirella, Year 1, Issue 4. Wow, look at that. Guillaume March, man. This guy knows just how to draw some pretty sexy women, I tell you what. Fantastic. The 90s cover for Harley Quinn 24. I had to pick this up. I actually hate the 90s in comic books. I think it's just the whole decade is like I don't know. If they were, I kind of figure that if you were going to give the 20th century an enema, the 90s is where you'd put the hose. But they did have some occasionally good things in it, and there you go. Sexy Harley Quinn. And again, not really sure who the artist is. And, again, I guess you can let me know in the chat or whatever. This cover here, Nahiri the Lithomancer. I've got no idea what a Nahiri is, and I've got no idea what a Lithomancer is supposed to be able to do. But she looks sexy as hell. But who knows? Who knows, right? In this day and age, might be a guy for all I know. Might be some gender-confused alien freak. I don't know. But there you have it. Look at that. Sexy as hell, Okay. This G.I. Joe cover, issue 300 of IDW G.I. Joe. It's actually, it's a double-page spread, all on the cover, and every character of G.I. Joe is on the cover. Fantastic. Do I have... I don't have any idea. There's a signature on the bottom. And it's just the initial, so I don't know who the artist is, but nice stuff. Oh, I had to put this on there. The Black Adam Justice Society Hawkman #1. I absolutely love this cover. I know it's one of my heartbreaking things about 2022 is Black Adam never did better at the box office. I love Black Adam. It was my second favorite superhero movie of 2022, next to Wakanda Forever, which Wakanda Forever, I love DC. I wanted to say Black Adam was #1, but Wakanda Forever was just too awesome. It was too impactful. But Black Adam, I love Dwayne Johnson. He did an amazing job. I hope that James Gunn finds a place for him in the DCU. And I got all these comic books with Black Adam related. And I even bought myself... I did, in fact, I bought myself the McFarlane action figures, and I also got them back there, on the shelf. That's, reacting to my voice, apparently. But anyways, man, Black Adam rules. I even got the cap. I went all in on Black Adam this year, man, and it was like, boom, it was like heartbreaking that it didn't do better at the box office. And not even Henry Cavill could save it. But All right, Batman the Joker, the Deadly Duo. There was a reflective black and white cover that came out with the foil cover that came out after it. Mark Silvestri's art's fantastic. Cover's fantastic. Absolutely love it. I actually prefer it in black and white with this sort of like gold reddish foil. Looks absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous, gorgeous cover. Oh, another cheat here. Wildcats #2, the Spawn cover. I mean, once again, man, you got to. Oh my God. I love this character, and I love this cover. Wow. Look at that. What's not to love? What's not to love? Woo-hoo. Anyways. All right, Justice League Incarnate. This Gary Frank cover with Dr. Universe on it, I think is my favorite cover of Justice League Incarnate, issues 4 of 5. Justice League Incarnate was actually my favorite series out of the Infinite Frontier, Justice League Incarnate going into Dark Crisis. Justice League Incarnate was the most fun series that I had. I thought Joshua Williamson did the best job in that particular series because we explored the multiverse, and it just seemed to it was so much more fun and wild and crazy. It actually felt that we were building to a crisis. Unfortunately, Dark Crisis was underwhelming, but it did have some good covers, right? Batman Detective Comics. This is Detective Comics issue 1048. I actually loved. This was during Mariko Tamaki's run during the Arkham Tower storyline. I didn't even mind the storyline so much, but it was kind of hit and miss with a lot of people. But I actually really liked the covers, and I thought the covers were excellent. They all had the same sort of like real tone look to them, sort of like a semi-real touch to them. And this one just encapsulates perfectly the storyline. With Harley Quinn being in a padded room, and it's perfect. And the best covers are the ones that are not only really, really good, but ones that actually relate to the content of the story themselves. Then that's fantastic. I love when that happens. It doesn't always happen, but I really do love when it does happen. And incidentally, it was not one of my rules. If I had a rule that said that a cover has to relate to the interior of the comic book, to the story itself, I wouldn't have any covers, because unfortunately the comic book, the way comic books are done nowadays, there's just editors aren't familiar enough with the characters. Writers don't communicate with artists enough to tell the artists ahead of time what the story's about. Artists are too lazy to put the legwork in to actually listen to what the story's about, and then draw appropriately for the cover. Although this is slightly one exception, so kudos to another one of those people that doesn't want to be recognized on the cover, I guess. I guess they think they're famous enough, they don't have to put their names on the covers. But I'm being kind of a little bit of a jerk here. This is covered by Evan Doc Shaner. I actually kind of know that, but I can't remember all these artists, right? But this is a great cover, and it's actually related to Missing Children. It's actually related to the story inside. So it's actually a great cover for that reason as well. There's an ADW Upshot comic called Absolution, which was, the art is by Mike Deodato Jr. It's absolutely fantastic. Every issue, it looks like a poster, it looks like a movie poster. It's really good. There's a couple of, I got more than a couple like this, and it's awesome. It really is. It's a good series too, Absolution. I reviewed that on my indie comic review. You can check it out. Or you can go to Weird Science Podcast and the Weird Science Comic Boom in Indie Review podcast. It's pretty good. We reviews everything with Jim Warner of Weird Science DC and Jason of the Get Fresh Fruit. All right. The Riddler, One Bad Day, The Riddler. This cover is by Mitch Gerads. Absolutely love this cover. It encapsulates, in my view, just the Joker perfectly. Tip in the cap. I love fedoras. It's got the question mark on the top. Looks fantastic. I absolutely love it. Another cover I liked in 2022 was Miracle Molly. This particular cover of Miracle Molly. I'm not generally a big fan of the manga style look, but Miracle Molly is a character that I think has a lot of potential if they slowly develop her, and I think that they're taking their time with her. We haven't seen a lot of Miracle Molly lately, other than in a quick storyline. We saw her in a quick storyline that was kind of badly done with Lady Shiva and Katana. I think it was in Batman Urban Legends. But the jury's still out. I think Miracle Molly is a character in slow development. I really want them to get the character right. Take their time, think it through before you just give her to any writer and puke her on the page. But the artist can do a wondrous job, as they did here, of putting her on covers, making her look pretty cool. And despite the green hair, and one could, let's face it, you got green hair, there's a pretty good chance, if you're not the Joker, you're probably still mentally ill. But in any event, it is what it is. Punchline as well as a character that is like Miracle Molly, but Miracle Molly so far is more interesting than Punchline. All right, another cover I thought was really good was Robin issue 16. I like this cover because it encapsulates the storyline so well. It's, Lord Death is coming back. He's got Robin's heart. And of course, there's a will they or won't they is, I'm forgetting her name. I'm forgetting her Robin's girlfriend's name. Anyways, you guys could tell me what it is. Anyways, Damian Wayne has a love interest here, and this is Lord Death, and he's got his heart in his hands. I love this cover. This whole series was in my top 10 list. Joshua Williamson, it was his best work of 2022, quite frankly. Although I'm really enjoying his Dark Ride from Image as well. Okay, Swamp Thing. Now, I gotta say, there's a lot of Brian Boland cover B Swamp Thing cardstock covers by Brian Boland for Swamp Thing that were excellent, but they're disqualified because they're $1 more, and I disqualify anything that's over the cover price. It's $3.99, it's the regular price, and Mike Perkins on the art just does an amazing job here. Or pardon me, yes, this is covered by Mike Perkins and Mike Spicer on the art. The art was fantastic on all the covers for Swamp Thing. I'm just picking one, but I really loved it. Swamp Thing was just a joy. Full 16 issues. So we got at least we got more than just the initial 10 that it was slotted for. We got more, so that was pretty good stuff. Now this cover here is actually of Starhenge. I can't remember this is Starhenge number 3 or 4, but it's a guest artist that unlike Liam Sharp, who actually created Starhenge, this is actually, I think, a better cover because it actually encapsulates and gives you some sense symbolically and metaphorically of who the characters are and what they stand for along with the star. It's a beautiful cover, and this is what I wish Starhenge covers consisted more of, quite frankly, or at least with Liam Sharp's art, but more symbolism as to what the story is on the cover, as opposed to he's got a very stylized particular approach to his covers for Starhenge, which still looks cool. I'm a sucker I like the theme metaphors on the cover as well. All right, I threw in the Zenescope here because when I go through Previews magazine every week, if I see a cover that is just sexy, I pick it up. I picked this up. Lurking Underneath. I got no idea what the hell this is about. None whatsoever. I got no idea, but the cover looks fine. So every now and then I just do a cover buy. And for $3.99, why not? Sexy as hell. It's, I don't even know what the hell it's called. Something Fairy Tales? Anyways. All right. DC Horror, Sergeant Rock and the Army of the Dead. Both covers, and they're all the same. Well, actually, they're not. The Frank Avila cover, which I got, is a cheat. It's a cover B. It's $4.99. But the regular cover is $3.99 by Gary Frank. Those are awesome. So you got to definitely check those out. Now, finally, I want to give a shout out to a cover that I think I wish more people would see. And that is Area 51, The Helix Project, issue 5. This is written by my good buddy, Dark Knight Nation, Trevor Lankiewicz. The artist here is amazing. His name is Samuel Iwunz, Iwunze. Anyways, it's fantastic. The cover is amazing, and I even got the full. Trevor was nice enough to send me a full actual print of the cover. The detail is amazing. And again, fits all the rules, cover price, it's just a good bang for your buck. Looks fantastic. And it even has another cover like that as well. I just want to give a shout out because there's so many great Kickstarters out there. They're just absolutely amazing. Now, there was another one. Yes, here it is. I want to give another shout out to Douglas Ernst. This cover here for Soul Finder Infinite Ascent is absolutely gorgeous. It's actually a double page spread. Absolutely beautiful here. And anyways, it's gorgeous. It really is great. And shout outs from Iconic Comics. And it's a pretty good read. And again, pretty good read, just like Area 51's Helix Project. Soul Finder, Infinite Ascent is about a father, about a priest that does exorcisms. It's actually pretty cool. And yeah, so there's that. Now, a couple of other ones here. Again, I was mostly DC centric this year. Again, one of my rules is I had to buy the comic. There's lots of covers out there that I didn't buy, which have phenomenal covers. But these are the rules that I've given myself. I love so far, Justice Society of America, Stargirl, The Lost Children. All these covers are fantastic. The New Golden Age. These covers are fantastic. And one of the reasons why I love them is that the covers are actually symbolic of what the actual content of the story is. DC has to keep this in mind, because I gotta tell you, the way DC continues to have their cover Bs and cardstock, and we just get random nonsense that's not related to the content, I just wish that the big two, and frankly, sometimes less so the image, because independent producers of comic books generally tend to keep their covers related to the story, to the content of the comic. But even they can suffer from just letting their artists do whatever they want. You don't do that. Tell your artists the story. Inspire your artists. Tell them something about the story, the issue, so that they can draw something related to the content. It is absolutely sheer laziness. And if I can, I will not buy a comic book if I have a choice between a cover that shows that is reflective of the interior versus one that is just another Batman pose. Sheer laziness, epic laziness, and editors that focus on stuff like that should be fired straight up. I mean, make the medium better. In any event, Joy Operations by, actually this was Brian Michael Bendis was the writer on this, Stephen Byrne. This is a cover actually by David Mack, but just absolutely gorgeous cover. Variant cover to issue 1, but it was $3.99, so it's in the rules. The Approach. Not sure who the artist is on this. Could be Hurley, I'm not sure, but The Approach, the cover here with the plane flying in whiteout, absolutely gorgeous. Had to pick that up. Rick and Morty, man, I absolutely love this cover. It's fantastic. The 100th issue of Rick and Morty. There's actually more than one of them. I bought like 3 of them. This says, we're a collector's issue, Morty. If we don't destroy this comic, we'll be graded and slabbed in plastic forever. Rick, stop. We're losing value. Anyways, great comic, great cover. And again, it is actually somewhat indicative of the crazy nonsense that goes on inside the comic as well. Crossover. Donny Cates crossover. I love this particular issue because it deals with actual comic book characters from different intellectual properties coming together for one massive adventure. I'm oversimplifying, but I like this cover is reflective of that. You know, there's a blood stain and you see like the Marvel heads, and it's amazing. I kind of wish that Marvel would go back to their old style like they did back in the day. I think it would be amazing, but I love this cover because it just reminds you of the good old days. Revealer by Vault Comics. One-shot movie tie-in. A little bit of obscenity there, but this was a funny cover. I'll just flash. There you go. Look at that. Anyways, a lot of fun with that cover. An issue, the Halloween special of Marked, which is absolutely a gorgeous cover. It's a 3D. Now, if it doesn't seem quite clear there, it's because it's 3D. It actually comes with 3D glasses, so when I bagged and boarded it, I put the glasses in the back, but it's actually beautiful. Absolutely beautiful cover. I believe David Hine is the artist on that. And it's a one-shot, so it's $8.99, but it's a one-shot, so I picked it up, and it's within my rules. Okay. I absolutely love Hitomi. Hitomi's covers are amazing, absolutely amazing. So this is the standard cover, one of the standard covers for I believe this was issue 2. Absolutely gorgeous and completely symbolic of the content in the interior, because the interior involves one of the young samurai taking on a wolf. of all things. Surprise, surprise. And symbolically, it's on the cover. And now this is also a gorgeous cover, but this was something that the artist, or pardon me, that the creator sent to Jim Werner and I, because we reviewed Hitomi. He gifted us each a copy of the, I think this was a special variant cover. So this violates my rules, but nonetheless, I want to show it off because it's absolutely gorgeous. Issue 1. Okay. I want to give a shout out to Sweeney Boo. I love her covers for Dark Ride. Again, they're all the same price, $3.99. Sweeney Boo does great covers for Dark Ride. Joshua Williamson's doing a great job. I think Daniel Preston is the interior artist. Adriana Lucas on the colors. And Sweeney Boo on some of the variant covers. Just really great stuff. A new comic called Art Brute, or actually this Art Brute, it reprints some stories that were originally elsewhere. Can't remember what, but this artist is I think it's Marazzo. I'm not even sure, but what a gorgeous cover. Absolutely gorgeous. So it's cover price, got a cover price. And a lot of these stuff, they sell quickly off the shelf, but if you get in early, it's all good. You can pick log into Previews Magazine, hook it up to your comic book shop, and there's no reason why you guys need to miss any of these standard covers, standard priced, regular price, gorgeous covers. There's no reason why we have to stop buying the 1 in 10, the 1 in 25, and the 1 in 50 nonsense. Get that out of, they don't hold their value anyway. They really don't. They just don't. And if they hold their value, so what? You're going to pay $25 for a comic that holds its value, and in 10 years it's worth $25? Because that's what the trends show. It's just generally not particularly worth it. That's my opinion, but go ahead, waste your money if you want. And you're wasting your money. Because if you're smart and you're in this hobby long enough, save the $25 and buy 3 or 4 more standard comics and speculate. Actually speculate. You're not speculating when you're paying $25 for a 1 in 10 variant and then spending more money to slab it, and then no one's interested in it because people are buying the regular comic. Anyways, I shouldn't say that. I know there's a counter argument to that, but I don't know how that's fun. I don't know how that's fun. How can you enjoy the hobby if you're not buying comics, but you're only buying 1 in 10 variants or 1 in 25, 1 in 50? Good grief. God, buy comics and read them. I know, I read them. I'm in the minority. This cover here by Dan Mora. The Batgirls comic was on my top 10 worst DC comics. But Batgirls, this cover by Dan Mora for Batgirls number 13 is fantastic. This is how I wish, that this embodies the look of this cover. The feelings that this engenders, the fun, the zestiness, the pizzazz, the adventure. I wish I felt that in the actual comic itself, which is another example of the cover not reflecting at all the interior at all. There's no relationship between this cover and the interior of this comic, which is sad. It's sad, but I guess it is what it is. Okay, now this was a regular cover. I don't think this was a cheat because they were all the Dark Crisis number 7 were a cheat, but this is the final issue. This is the George Perez tribute cover. I had to throw that in there. And again, regular price. Regular price, not a big deal. That's the way they should be. Another regular price comic. Great one by Robert Hack. Happy Horror Days. Archie Comics. Archie Comics has some fantastic covers. This is one of my favorite of the year. Simple, perfect, right to the point, and conveys so much and is actually reflective of one of the stories in the comic. Can you believe that? See the pattern there, guys? Anyways, now this is a horrible Wonder Woman storyline, but this cover is so crazy. Wonder Woman actually is going after vile milk drinkers. There's evil milk drinkers out there that are misogynists, and they want to abuse women. And of course, they're drinking this milk is causing. Naturally, it has to be milk that's causing them because it's white. And white males are bad, and it's every cliche you can imagine, shun down your throat. But as horrible as the writing is in this comic, this is actually a cover that's funny because it's actually symbolic of the interior, because Wonder Woman's going after vile milk drinkers. There's Hera, the hand of Hera, who's the goddess Hera on Olympus, is sort of doing all the machinations. And so this is actually symbolic of what's actually going on in the comic book. So this is why I like it. And it's pretty cool. It's kind of funny. It's even more funny when you know how ridiculous the storyline is. All right, now these two I had to give credit out to. In the same year, 2022, where we gave the so-called sequel to the original Crisis on Infinite Earths, we actually had two homages, Harley to the death of Supergirl in Quick Stops #2 by Dark Horse, and by Harley Quinn issue 20 or issue. I guess it's issue 1, Harley Quinn Uncovered. And this Harley Quinn Uncovered, incidentally, is actually a variant cover which shows all the covers of Harley Quinn. So anyways, both these covers are pretty good and hilarious. And this Quick Stops is probably one of the funniest comics I've read all year. So if you can pick up Quick Stops, I would highly recommend you pick it up if you want a good laugh, because it's fun. It's Kevin Smith at his best, art by Phil Hester, Andy Parks, Andrew Thomas, creative team. Good stuff. Guys, a couple other things. I want to give a shout out to, I really appreciate every issue of Nice House on the Lake in 2022 was gorgeous, and everything on the cover was symbolic of the contents. Particularly, there's 10 people in the house, and each person in the house that's upon this nice house on the lake is represented by a symbol in the story. And without spoiling too much, there's actually an 11th person in the house that ends up showing up with their symbol on the final issue. Anyways, I like the thought that goes into this on the covers. Again, it is a stain on any kind of creativity that if you're a writer and you are not taking advantage of the cover and telling an artist either what to draw, give them some inspiration to draw something thematically or metaphorically or somehow related to the content. If you don't, you're negligent and you should go into another industry. I'm so tired of mediocrity in the comic book industry. As a fan, that's what we want to see. Show us that you're better, that you're, as an artist, show us that you're capable of reading a comic and actually drawing some aspect of it on the cover, as opposed to just doing another pose. Oh, look, another pose. Oh, look, another random cover of a woman looking sexy. Look, I love tits and ass as much as the next guy. But relate the tits and ass to a comic book. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, another off the wall, Earth Divers. The second printing of every issue of Earth Divers is all done in red, and it's actually, I think, almost nicer than the regular covers. Earth Divers is written by Stephen Graham Jones. David Guion Felici does the art. It's by IDW. It's a wonderful series. It's basically Native Americans going back in time to kill Christopher Columbus, so that because they discover that the Earth in the future, when it's destroyed, what all futures have in common that are destroyed are that Christopher Columbus discovers America. So they figure by preventing the discovery of America by Christopher Columbus and maybe having the natives take control, that somehow the future is going to be saved. And so I like that premise. It's kind of cool. It's sort of like what Quentin Tarantino did for the Jews in Inglourious Bastards. I think Stephen Graham Jones is writing a story for the natives against colonial occupation. In any event, nice cover there too. So guys, there's so many more covers that I could have gone through here, but those were kind of the ones that I enjoyed the most. And there were ones that stood out to me when I sort of went through the whole year. And honestly, one of the things that you'll note, and this is just my general commentary, is there's a lot of covers that are aesthetically, I will admit, better than the ones I showed, which is my critique of the big two, my critique of DC. Stop putting your best covers on cover B and cover C. Stop making your best covers on don't put them on your cardstock and charge $1 more for them. Number one, go back to the regular pricing. Do not charge $1 more for cardstock. And put your best cover on cover A. And the other thing is, and the funny thing is here is that, isn't it funny that often it's the cover A's that ends up being, when there is a key issue, it's often the cover A that's worth more anyway. But there's nothing more frustrating if there is a cover B that's a key issue. If there's a key issue and it's a cover B or a cover C, and it's a $10 or $15 or $20 comic book, and you're spending that money right off the rack because it's a 1 in 10 or a 1 in 15. That's horrible. That's not inviting. That's not particularly invitational to people coming into the hobby. I just made up that word. It doesn't really exist. But it does sound good. Invitational. Anyways, guys, I could vent on covers for a long time. Tell me your favorite cover of the year for 2022. You can make up your own rules for what means a good cover. But let's just say this: if you spend $25 on your cover or $50 on your cover, let me know what it is. But just remember that anybody who spends $25 or $50 on a cover, if that's not the best cover you have in your collection, why did you spend $25 to $50 on it? But I know you can spend your money how you want, but good God, man, I would, buy something for your shelf, buy some lighting for your shelf. You can go to a theater and buy a giant cardboard cutout of Batman. Why don't you do that? That costs you $50. You get a lot more out of that visually than you will a $50 cover that's not going to grow in value in 50 years. Anyways, guys, I hope you had a wonderful 2022, and Happy New Year going into 2023. This will be my last video for 2022, and I'll probably, obviously, I can't wait to 2023. Looking forward to what DC has in store. Dawn of a new DCU. It looks as if I will definitely not be collecting any Marvel in the foreseeable future. I stopped collecting Marvel entirely in 2022. Incidentally, because I was collecting Daredevil, then they canceled Daredevil, and the moment they canceled Daredevil to go into Devil's Reign, I said I'm out. So I never collected Devil's Reign, and then I never went back to Daredevil when they restarted it. So that was my last holdout. I collected Daredevil for, I guess, 35 years, and I stopped, and I haven't gone back. And Marvel's not particularly inviting. And then Phase 4 was a bust. Thor: Love and Thunder was the worst movie of 2022. If I was a movie reviewer, Thor: Love and Thunder was the worst superhero movie of all time. She-Hulk was I couldn't watch She-Hulk. It was that bad. Wow, although I like Daredevil showing up, that was kind of comical. But even that was a little bit sort of, well, I guess the whole thing was intended to be a joke, right? But anyways, I digress, guys. I'll vent on another video. Enjoy the last vestiges of 2022. Happy New Year for 2023. And guys, until next time, I'm out of here.